Welcome, welcome everyone. Before we proceed with our presentation, I would like to give like a huge thank you, a huge shout out to Dr. Ho as well as all of my classmates enrolled in this subject for spending time watching this presentation that we worked so hard to put together. And I would like to give a thank you to all my teammates as well. Like I don't know what the feedback is, but in my opinion, we did our job phenomenally. Despite all of that hassles at the start, including like the emails, the contacting, the setting up the OneDrive folders and stuff. But it is just like crazy how through that hardship is when we start to realize the problem is that why of all of the ingenuity that is created within the IT world is the most fundamental task of basic communication made so difficult, and why must it create so many problems when it should be doing the exact opposite? And that's when we realize, why don't we take it into our own hands? Why don't we solve this problem by presenting, creating, and give out a platform, an app that on its own combine the functionality of so many different ones, which introduce to our app simply called members.
Thanks, Kiet, for really great introductions, and I will take care from now on. As our group was discussing, and we are deciding to present our presentation in three main sections that all ideas together. Firstly, that I have a question always in my mind that have you ever thought about any inconvenience of communications? That's right. That's what we now. That is our first part. We'll talk about. We indicate that there's five main problems of the communications that we aim to solve, and the reason why we think that is necessary. We will discuss it in five small parts. The first one was delayed communications, and my teammate Hao will present it.
So, imagine receiving the list of the teammates. You are deciding to start the project and send the email, but they don't reply for days. And that is a main problem, right? You see, an average user receives too many emails daily, and most of whom goes unnoticed. So, it's very hard to get a timely response, thus slowing down your personal and work process.
Identity crisis. Another probability on why your requests are not processed in time might be because the person in question doesn't know who you are. It is historically proven that emails, access requests sent to us via personal accounts are more than likely to be ignored for fear of scam and hackers. Sure, you can mail to their business accounts for verification, but that would bring us back to point one. But let's just say we do gain permission.
Data security. Even with access, our data becomes more vulnerable than ever, especially in a corporate settings. Personal drives, which the IT departments have no securities over, are provided access to the files.
Now we're moving to the fourth problem, that is help seeking chaos. Like, for example, if you are an user, you might have come across a situation where you require help from your seniors or your teachers or your coordinators. But as pointed out in point one, there will be a little bit of delay in the response. Like sometimes by the time the help is provided to us, the solutions have already been figured out, or just projects has already finished, but that late clarifications derails the entire thing. Yeah, that was really annoying. I know.
Now, by now, I know what you may be thinking. all of the problems that we have just listed can easily be resolved by using multiple applications at once. I can reach out to classmates whom I never met via email, and then we can start like a Discord server, Messenger chat room, and then we can upload all of it through a drive folder whom we will authorize to public domain. And yeah, that is a very solid method which we ourselves use during our group process, funnily enough. But is it really that effective? Ask yourself this: if it is so optimal, then why do we still feel so frustrated? And it's interestingly enough, through our research, we have found out that an average user in any setting, either academic or business, will can only keep track of a maximum of 2 applications, maybe 3. Can you have a teamwork with just 3 applications? You can, technically, but as you go further down the project, it branches out, making it so much harder for you to track, leading to inefficiency, overloading mentally, and frustration because they have now to more app to track, meaning more delay in response. Don't believe us? Let us ask all the interviewees who we have addressed and gathered all of their answers through questionnaires and forums.
As you can see, we have split our users into 2 groups, academic and business. The first group is students and teachers. Many students, albeit from different subjects, have reported their frustration that the teachers respond to their emails so slowly. Yet, the same teachers, when asked, have said that they feel stressed that they have so many emails from students, especially near deadlines.
That is not just limited to teachers, however, as personally, I find it worrying that sometimes unidentified emails account start to modify my first log file, but it turns out to be my teammates on his personal mail. Sam's case applied to the corporate users, projects, and an entire department had to suffer from delays because of inefficiency in the replying to requests from the higher ups.
Okay, let's talk about the legal edition. Interestingly, our interviews and research unveiled quite a unique yet common circumstances in workplaces. You see, it turns out that an allowed access via personal drives not only create a crisis for IT department, but also legal department. As the data is hosted in the personal drives, the legality behind the ownership, there's the destruction and compromisation of integral data. Even now is up for a debate. Cases of employees and a corporation arguing on the legal field over the uses of project after resigning are not uncommon, and occurs not only at the cost of time but money.
In a nutshell, our users need an application that not only allows a single-threaded platform to have conversations, but one that can have multimedia data sharing and can minimize the unnecessary problems like identity verification and data flow control. And we have just the perfect painkiller. Members?
Now we go back to your login interface. It is common for many corporates and schools to provide staff or students with business and academic Outlook accounts. These accounts will now be used to log into the application. In short, you can most definitely be sure that the person prompting you to respond to legal user within the system and the staff can be ensured that only authorized and recognized users get access to the classroom and files.
Okay, now let's talk about the main interface. And in the main interface, each department and subject will have its own chat room created and monitored by the alphas, or teachers and project leaders. What does this mean for you? As a user, you might be asking. Firstly, aside from the chat room, each rooms will have a Microsoft Teams activation button. and OneDrive link tailored. This means that no more there is a struggle of multi-platform communication. All the communications and the conversations can be hosted within the chat rooms alongside announcement and conference room. An integrated OneDrive would also save the users from the inconvenience, that is, verifying the users as aforementioned they are pre-authorized to perform the action. On a similar basis, each chat room will have a branch button leading straight to a Git repository.
What about data? How would messenger knockoffs protect our precious data from hackers, leaks, accidental and intentional compromisation? The corporate CIO might be asking, as the OneDrive's a corporate property, will all the files be uploaded to it? In a nutshell, this means that anything made by an employee will be counted by default as corporate property. And an exclusive access grant to authorized accounts means that companies can monitor all OneDrive file transmission, destruction, creation, and modification. This will make it easier for IT devs to point out the person accountable and minimize potential breaches since, as aforementioned, all accounts are logged.
Last but not least, I find out that there is a very underrated point that an user-friendly user interface should have a notification sound designed for the apps. This is really fun features like this help user to recognize the app separately from others apps like this famous social chatting apps messengers. It has a very unique sound. For example, a student who has like a tons of social medias and relationships, whenever they hear the notice, they will know that it is time for a love light circle or get your brain back to work.
Wow, would you look at the time? How time flies, huh? Well, it is perfect right now for an ending actually. As you can see through our presentation, we are not trying to like revolutionize or like change the entire industry with like an invention of like teleportation. No, what we are offering is simply a solution, a software, an app that will resolve a problem that I believe most of, if not all of us here currently or in the future will meet. And even better, this what we have here, this is just a demo. This is a prototype of the end product. I sincerely hope that you as potential users will be on our side as we could improve it with better features. And you could even do one up. You could give us feedbacks on what you think could, should, and must be enhanced. Once again, thank you so much for my classmate and Dr. Ho for attending our presentation.